In today's video, let us try and understand what is Samudra Manthan. Samudra Manthan is mentioned in our Hindu scriptures as an important event. And of course, yes, it was important because this happened in the initial stages of the creation and that happened in the Satyuga. So let us try and understand what was the Samudra Manthan, and of course, also let us analyze what it teaches us at the end of the story. So today I will be narrating the story of the Samudra Manthan. And this all started when, Maharshi Durvasa, he approached Lord Indra, to discuss something very important. So he went to his place, but then Lord Indra had just returned back from a battle in which he had won against some asuras, and he was in that kind of pride, and he was in another level of thinking, and he wasn't really kind of humble towards his approach towards Durvasa Muni. So what happened was, Maharshi Durvasa, he offered a flower garland to Lord Indra, but then Lord Indra just put that garland to Airavat, and eventually the garland fell at the feet of Airavat. Looking at all these things, Maharshi Durvasa was very much offended, and he could not control his anger, and he immediately cursed the entire Devaloka, that because of your pride, because of the all the highness and all the wonderful things that you have shown this kind of pride towards me. So here I'm cursing all of you to lose everything so that you will learn your lesson. So this was the kind of curse that Durvasa Maharshi just gave on the entire Devaloka. And once this curse happened, things started deteriorating in the world of gods. And as and how they were waging wars against the asuras, they almost lost all of the battles, and they lost almost everything that they had and that they were proud of. So ultimately they were really not understanding where to go from here. So they approach Lord Vishnu. Now Lord Vishnu, he gives them a very sound advice. He talks about the amrita that we would be churned out of the ocean. And he said, this will be the Samudra Manthana, and from this you will get the amrita, which will empower you and give back all the powers that you have lost. So this is how Lord Vishnu guides all of them, and he talks about the Samudra Manthana. Now all the gods are very positive about it, and they really want to go ahead and get this the amrita from the churning of the sea, of the ocean. So they also know at the same time that they are not having so much strength and power left in them anymore. So they approach King Bali, and initially he will not agree. He's the king of the asuras, and he will not agree. But eventually, after getting to know about the amrita, he says okay to it. So basically, the gods and the asuras together come for the churning or the Samudra Manthana. Now, the next question that arose was, how to do this churning. When they say Kshira Sagara, that means it was the ocean of milk. So they were not really getting a clue as to how to do the churning, how to do the manthana. Then again, Lord Vishnu comes to rescue, and the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, that is the Garuda Deva, he actually goes and gets the Mandrachala mountain, and he places in the middle of the ocean. Now the next challenge is that of the churning. So they actually get the Vasuki, the snake, and they tie the Vasuki around this mountain, and that will enable them for the churning. So all this was done, and the churning started. Now, in the process of the churning, they realize that there is no base for the mountain churning on the ocean. And obviously, the mountain sinks a little down. And that is when they face the challenge as to how to stabilize the base of that mountain so the churning happens peacefully and smooth. So Lord Vishnu at that time takes the avatar of the Kurma. In the sense, he takes the avatar of the tortoise. Now, the tortoise will give the stability to the mountain in a way that if it was sliding to the right, then it was the Lord Vishnu's conscious consciousness that would guide it to stabilize again. So basically, this Kurma avatar of Sri Vishnu will allow and enable the Samudra Manthana. Now, once the churning was all done and it was happening in a desired way, they also had an agreement, that is the gods and the asuras. They had an agreement that whatever comes out of this churning has to be distributed among both of the parties, that is the gods and the asuras, equally. So, likewise, this was the agreement, but Lord Vishnu never talked about the halahal, that is the extreme level of poison that would come out of this churning. He purposely did not mention about this poison because he did not want to break the morale of the gods. He first told them about the incentive, that is, you will get Amrit and that will stabilize your situation. And that really gave them and built up the morale in them to actually go for the Samudra Manthana. But anyway, now they had to face this, and the first thing that came out of the churning or from the the Samudra Manthana was the halahal, that is the extreme poison. Now initially they agreed that half of the portion will be managed by the asuras, that is they'll consume it, and half of it will be consumed by the gods. But then the extremity of the poison was so high, it was something that they could not manage. They knew they would not be able to manage. So they approach our Bholenath, that is, they'll approach Lord Shiva. And obviously, Shiva being such a Bholenath, he will just agree for the cause of some good work. And he goes ahead and actually drinks this poison. But then, to everyone's surprise, even Shiva will not be able to handle that extremity of that poison. That is when Shakti, that is Parvati Mata, she comes and actually she stops the poison right at his throat so that he doesn't get affected. So that is the reason why his throat becomes turns blue because of the poison, and so he's called the Nilakantha. So the poison part of it also got solved, but then one small mishap took place during this time. That is, a few drops of this halahal, it was still remaining, and the Kali Purusha or the Kali Rakshasa immediately consumed it, and he became totally powerful. Before that, he was not even having a form, but since he consumed that halahal, that is where he got the power of all the evil and all the negative powers is what he got from that kind of consumption of the poison. Now after the poison, or after the halal came out of the churning, next came the Kamadhenu. After Kamadhenu came the Kaustubhamani and the Shankha, which was taken by Sri Vishnu. After that came Rambha the Apsara, who was taken into the Devaloka. And then came the Parijata and the Kalpavruksha, which was again placed in the Devaloka. Then came the Varuni Devi, that is the goddess of alcohol, but it was taken by the Asuras. Then came Mahalakshmi, and then after Mahalakshmi was the Chandrama. The Chandrama was taken by Lord Shiva. And finally, Sri Dhanavantri, the god of medicine that we know him as, he came out, he emerged from this churning, and he had this kalash of Amrit in his hand. The moment the Amrit was, got from the churning, a big fight took place between the gods and the Asuras. And when this was going on, Garuda Deva immediately just snatched the kalash and flew away. And in the process of flying, a few drops of Amrita fell in places like Haridwar, Ujjain, Nasik, and Prayagraj. So these places have their own importance. because of this given history as well. That is when we talk about the Kumbh Mela. So okay, so all these things happened, the churning happened, they got the Amrita. Now the problem was the fight between the gods and the Asuras to take the entire Amrit Kalash. Now, Sri Vishnu had to do something about this. So he took the avatara of a Mohini. Mohini is someone who's extremely attractive. Nobody was spared, from her attraction, and they all got mesmerized by her beauty. And since they all got mesmerized, what she did, that is what Sri Vishnu in the avatar of Mohini did was, she told the Asuras that you need to trust me. Let half of the Amrita be taken by all the gods, and the remaining half will be given to you along with me. I'll also come along with you, and the half of the Amrita will be given to you. So let them take the first share. So, the Asuras were so mesmerized and they got so convinced by Mohini, they agreed to it. And what happened was the entire Amrita was taken away by the gods. So, in a way, this was the kind of for the betterment, because if the Asuras would have got hold of all the Amrita, then obviously you can imagine, they would have misused it. So, in a way, obviously, Sri Vishnu in the avatar of Mohini saved the entire mankind and saved the earth again. So, this was the story of the Samudra Manthana. Now, each event and each and everything that happened during the Samudra Manthana has got some value that we need to take from. So, the entire story that was narrated, it had a few things like, the Samudra and the mountain. So, let us try and analyze what we can take from this story. So the Kshira Sagara, that is the ocean, that is the Samudra Manthana, the Samudra that was there, is depicted as our brain, a human brain, and then the mountain that was used for the churning is depicted or is shown as the focus that we have in our lives. That is the way we place our focus on a certain thing. Okay. Later, the story talks about the tortoise. Now, tortoise is the kind of aim, it's the kind of consciousness that we have in our brain when we set out to achieve something in life. So, tortoise kind of depicts that purpose or the aim that we have in our life. And the Visha that comes out of the churning is the difficulties that we face in our lives. And the Vishakantha, the entire incident of, Lord Shiva actually taking the entire wish or the entire poison is something like how we can deal with difficulties. We can have the capacity to actually overcome these difficulties. Visha or poison is nothing but the difficulties or the miseries that we face in our life, and it teaches us that we need to show that kind of courage that Lord Shiva showed only for the betterment of the entire mankind. He actually consumed the entire poison. So likewise, we need to show the kind of courage to actually face the difficulties in our lives and be ready to take that poison and be a winner ultimately. And then at the end of the story, when it is about the mentioning of Mohini, it is nothing but the distractions that we have in our lives. Like when we set out a goal, we are quite determined, we are focused, we know what is the purpose, or what we want in life. But then somewhere down the line, we have so many distractions. So Mohini is that, which depicts the distractions in our mind, in our lives. So we need to be able to overcome those distractions. And finally, all this was done for the Amrita. Now, what is Amrita? It is the goal that we set in our lives. And that is kind of the ultimate goal, that we want to be peaceful, we want to be happy, we want to have a life that is just like, Amrita. So these are the things that we can draw from the story and try and analyze in the most spiritual way. And of course, each and every story that is, seen in the Hindu scriptures, they carry a lot of meaning. It's just up to us how we analyze, how we take for our own betterment, and understand the spirituality aspect of it, and not just stick to the practical stories like, this happened, and that happened, and this god said that, and this rishi gave the curse. It's the stories are not just about that. The story is more about how we draw the morals from it, or how we understand the spiritual aspect of such stories. I hope you liked the today's content, and the purpose of telling the story is, because this story is something so important in our Hindu scriptures, and we need to know such things. It's not like we know only Ramayana and Mahabharata. We need to know something that is so basic in our Hindu scriptures, and it's not like, we need to have a very detailed knowledge about each and everything. First we can have some baby steps. We can understand where it all started, and what is the meaning, and what is the moral of certain stories that is given in our scriptures, that will really benefit us in a long way. So I hope you like today's content, and if yes, then please do consider to hit that like button, and if you're new to this channel, then please consider to subscribe to this channel so that this community grows. And until next video, please take care of yourself, and let's meet in the next video. Thanks for watching this video.